afternoon. My name is Yamelcy Rodriguez. I am the president and CEO of Planned Parenthood of the St. Louis region in Southwest Missouri. And I am thrilled to be here today with this incredible women who are already either a historic first or they're in the running to be one. This to me feels like familia, and I am so excited to engage with them throughout our conversation. I am incredibly excited to introduce you first to Senator Tadeo. Senator, you are the first Latina Democrat in the Florida State Senate and a successful businesswoman. You are really breaking glass ceilings left and right. Although women continue to earn less than their male counterparts for many years, Latinas have earned lower wages amongst all women. This trend is starting to finally shrink as Latinas are now not only a driving force for the national economy, but we continue to grow as a demographic and significant portion of the workforce. In your opinion, what can we as Latinas do to continue this trend and ensure economic opportunity for ourselves and for future generations?
Well, thank you so much. I am honored to be on with all of you, such wonderful other leaders across the country. That is actually a really good question about women and specifically Latina women, because we are still making 55 cents for every dollar as Latinas. We're the ones making the least in our economy. And although there's been great number growth and we are so large in numbers, the fact is we still have a lot to gain on to have the representation we deserve by the large numbers that we are as a voting bloc. But in addition to that, the fact that so many of us are entrepreneurial. I myself, I'm a small business owner, have been for 30 years. And I know that Latinas are the largest growing segment of entrepreneurs in this country. And we have a lot to offer. And we need to make sure that we get paid the same for the same type of work that any of us might do. And that means having representation. That means making sure that someone is out there fighting for those rights that we deserve. And that also means having people that understand what it's like to say, you know what, I'm going to start my own business as well and know how tough it is, but yet still succeed. And those are the voices that we need to have in places where decisions are being made.
Thank you, Senator. Now I would like to turn it over to Dr. Caraveo. As a state legislator, you have championed legislation around public health, housing, the environment, and criminal justice system. While we know the vast majority of Latinos support access to safe and legal abortion, how did you navigate messaging to the Latino community around this, at times, polarizing issue and help shatter abortion stigma in your state or district?
First of all, thank you to you, Yamelcy, for all of your work with Planned Parenthood. That is so incredibly important, especially given this day and age with the attacks that reproductive care as Latina leaders, to talk about our experiences and what we've seen in our communities. My experience really started as a doctor, seeing the lack of access that so many Latinos still have to healthcare. We are still underinsured compared to the general population. Many of us, if we are undocumented, lack access to programs like Medicaid. And all of that lack of access really leads directly to lack of access to reproductive health care. I have taken that seriously, both as a doctor, making sure that I am serving my Latino community, and also as a state legislator. I've really focused on making sure that with any bill that we pass that has to do with reproductive rights, that we're thinking of the Latino community, including by passing a bill that expanded access to contraception through Medicaid to all Coloradans, regardless of their documentation status. We need Latinas in office in order to focus on these issues. And we also need Latinas in office and in positions of power to have these frank and difficult discussions with the Latino community. I think that our community is very willing to have these discussions and understands that at the root, this is about freedom, right? The freedom to make sure that you have access to contraception and whether you choose to use it or not, the freedom to have a discussion with your family, with your partner, with your religious leader, if so needed, to decide whether you're going to have a child or not. Really at the root, this is about the ability to make your own medical decisions. And I think Latino families very much understand that.
So how can we as Latinas continue to support each other and create better opportunities for our community now, as well as for future generations?
Yeah, thank you. What is amazing is that we are one of the largest and fastest growing demographic groups here in the United States. And we command about a $2 trillion market in the United States. We are an increasingly powerful bloc when it comes to the market and economic stance, but also politics. And I think right now in this moment, we need to also recognize all the work that's been done before us. And that is the work of our mothers, that is the work of our grandmothers. And we are honoring that every time we stand up, every time we put our name on the ballot, and every time we decide to open a business and drive change forward. I think in this moment when we have seen our rights rolled back even about 50 years, this is a red flag, and we need to stand up, and we need to not be shy, and we need to be loud.
Latinas are 31 million strong in this country, and as you mentioned, a very powerful voting bloc. What is your message to all of our Latinas in our fierce audience today? And we can start with you, Senator Tadeo.
Well, first of all, I would say que ya es hora. Look, it's our turn, and we know we can do it. As Michelle so well said it just a second ago, we know that our stories are America's stories, that our struggles are America's struggles, that we have so much to offer. And in order for our community to have a voice, to be represented, we need to make sure that we have a seat at the table, even if it's a folding chair, like you just said, because I have to tell you, even as moms, for example, there's a shortage of staffing all throughout the country, people putting up signs saying they need workers. And part of the issue is that a lot of women, including many Latina women, didn't go back to work after COVID because it costs more to figure out who is going to help you with the kids. So these experiences that all of us have had and that understand the importance to us as Latinas and Latina families of the importance of taking care of our family and our next generation and our kids who are our lives. And that's the kind of representation that we bring, which is why we have to use that voting power to ensure that we have the representation we deserve with people that actually are going to go fight for all of us, even those that don't vote for us. That's the difference. Is not just about partisanship or this side, that side. It's about who is going to truly bring us together as a country so that all of us have an opportunity to the American dream.
Thank you, Senator Tadeo. Dr. Caraveo, what is your message?
That we all need to participate. It doesn't come just in running for office, although I think more of us Latinas need to do that. Only 3% of members of Congress are Latina, even though we represent far more than that of the population of the United States. And so more of us need to lift each other up to run for office, but also participate in every other way in our democracy.
We are certainly here and we're watching, and we are the second largest voting bloc in this country. So Michelle, wrap us up with your thoughts about what we can do as Latino voters this November.
Yeah. So women, we are natural organizers. So really, if we put the effort behind it of bringing out our tios, our abuelos, our primos, we could make a huge difference. Here in Texas 15 right now, it's up to the Latino vote. And in particular, in my race, it's the Latina vote that's going to determine what the political landscape is going to look like in this part of the country. And it could very much affect the national landscape politically. And so these are amazing times. And this is the power that's right in front of us, but we need to grasp it. And like I said, we are natural organizers. So make a list of people that live in your home, make a list of people that are your neighbors, and make sure that they are registered to vote, and make sure you bring them out to the polls.
Muchísimas gracias, Senador Tadeo, Dr. Caraveo, and Michelle. I am so grateful first for your courage and so inspired by your leadership and your commitment to ensuring Latinas are represented at every level of government. With 31 million Latinas living here, Latina candidates and us as voters have grown into a demographic with incredible power and influence national and local elections. Mis comadres, we can do this. We can bring back reproductive freedom. We can ensure Latino communities have access to the resources that they need to live free and thrive, no matter their zip code, their national origin, or their immigration status. Therefore, this November, do not stay home. Please go out and vote. Do it for yourself, for your familia, and for the millions of Latinos who can do it. Remember that what happens at the polls impacts the lives of our community outside of them. Latinas, este noviembre no te quedes en casa y por favor sal a votar. Hazlo por ti, por los tuyos y por los millones de latinos que todavía no pueden hacerlo. Recuerda que lo que pasa en las urnas de votación afecta la vida de nuestra comunidad fuera de ella. Thank you all for your time.